Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to continue on with a kind of series of Swedish beers that I'm doing for you across December, and we're going to go up to Stockholm this time and visit one of the really quite interesting craft beer producers. So we're going to return to Omnipollo, and this is actually one of the special beers that they released in October. I'm filming this just a day or two after I bought it, but you'll see the review in early December. But this one is the 90,000 and it's described as being as a bilberry smoothie IPA. It's got bilberries in it, it's got almonds, pecans and also vanilla and some lactose added to the brew as well. It's a limited edition one, I think, so it should be pretty cool actually. It comes in at 7%, so a nice kind of fruit beer sort of IPA hybrid if you like. So very much looking forward to trying with this one. Omnipollo are quite well known for adding random things to their beers, and it tends to work out quite well actually. And this one has a rating I think of 80 in overall on ratebeer.com, but it also has a rating of 95 within the style, so it should be a really cool beer. But anyway, as always with my beer reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the company. I'll also tell you a bit about bilberries in this one as well. I like doing that with fruit beers actually, but if you do want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual website links are in the video description below. That includes the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Omnipollo before, the Facebook page for the channel, please like it, and also my Untappd profile too, and feel free to add me as a friend on there. To my Swedish viewers, I will apologise in advance if any of the Swedish pronunciations aren't quite right, but do let me know some of your favourite Swedish beers and I will see if I can order them through Systembolaget and review them for you. I always like doing that, reviewing beers that people request, and it's really cool. You get some really good recommendations, so please don't hesitate to get in touch. But anyway, Omnipollo was founded in 2011 by Henok Fenty, who's a long-time home brewer, and Carol Grandin, who's actually a clothing designer. But the two met one day and they decided to start a brewery together after they had quite a long discussion on the kind of insular craft beer scene in Sweden and abroad of course. But they wanted to reinvigorate the craft beer scene in Sweden from both a stylistic and a gastronomic sense. So Carol actually designs a lot of the labels that go on the beer here, but they felt that it was a kind of strong partnership to have a home brewer and a designer as well. They felt that for their vision, if you like, this was very logical. But the name is derived from omnipotent chicken, so Omnipollo, pollo of course is Spanish for chicken. I've seen a lot of people call this brewery Omnipollo, but I think it is pollo, just the Spanish word for chicken, and that's how you pronounce it. But these guys are gypsy brewers, much like Toil and Mikkeller, and so they have no brewery of their own, and they use the spare capacity at other breweries, and they brew many collaboration beers as a result of this. I think they produce most of their beers at the De Proefbrouwerij in Lochristenhoofde in Belgium, but they currently export to over 20 different markets and they're continually expanding. So if you don't have Omnipollo yet, I'm sure you will find them fairly soon. One of my subscribers, John Shepherd, told me that he can get some of these things in Australia, so that's of course one of the most faraway places that you're going to get, and I'm sure if you haven't got them yet, you soon will. They're getting quite popular. But very recently they also opened the Omnipollo's Hat in Stockholm, and this is a collaboration with Pizza Hut, and it's become really quite popular in the city. But it's apparently got awesome pizza and it has a lot of Omnipollo beers on the tap as well. So if you find yourself in Stockholm, it definitely is worth checking out, and when I make it up there next year, I will be sure to go and have a look at this place. It's supposed to be really quite good. But anyway, that's your kind of brief history of the brewery. They've got about 30 different styles of beer, so go and check out the brewery website, and I can confidently say with this brewery, if you just pick a style of beer that you quite enjoy and just try the Omnipollo equivalent of that, you probably will enjoy it. They are a really good brewery, so just try one of their beers if you haven't before and you really will quite enjoy it. My favourite one I've tried so far probably is the Nebuchadnezzar. It's one of the best double IPAs in the world and quite widely agreed upon that. But yeah, so to move on to this beer, this guy is a 7% sort of IPA fruit hybrid. As I said, on Rate Beer it's down as a fruit beer, but this one contains bilberries, pecans, almonds, vanilla as well, and also some lactose is added to the brew, and it's brewed at De Proefbrouwerij in Lochristenhoofde, which is near Ghent in Belgium. So this is, as I say, where they brew most of their beers. Just to tell you a little bit about the bilberries that they put into this as well. These bilberries are actually closely related to blueberries, but they are a distinct species. They're also known as whortleberries in England, but in Scotland we call them bilberries, and in the Nordic countries they're called bilberries as well. More common in the Nordic countries actually. But medically, bilberries are known to help with blood circulation and also retinal disorders, but they also have an old legend, and this is quite an interesting one. The The British RAF pilots in the Second World War apparently ate bilberry jam before they went on their bombing raids, and they seriously believed that this helped them bomb with kind of devastating accuracy, if you like. So quite an old legend, but the more recent research has kind of made people think that this is a bit of an old wives' tale. But interestingly, I've also seen the bilberry described as being the European blueberry, whereas blueberry is different. It's described as being the American blueberry. This was an interesting article I found on it, but the bilberry is apparently higher in vitamin C and E than the American blueberry, and it also contains more anthocyanins, and these are flavonoid compounds, and this is a chemical series which promotes health benefits that I mentioned before, but it also helps fight against cancer, diabetes, neurological diseases, inflammation, bacterial infections, and also fibrocystic disease as well. So they're quite a powerful wee berry actually. So yeah, eat your blueberries and eat your bilberries basically, but the bilberries are better for you, and I have to admit I do quite like bilberries. I've tried a few of the different ones from all over the place since I've arrived in Sweden, and they are pretty nice to make juice with, I have to say that. But yeah, so I'll just bring up the camera and let you have a little quick look at the artwork on this one before we open it up. Quite simple, this one, no back label to it actually, it's just a simple label that they've put on the front of this. I think this is maybe just because it's a kind of special beer rather than being one of their regular beers, if you like, and it's a plain bottle cap as you always get from Omnipollo. But yeah, it should be a really quite interesting one, so let's crack it open and get on with the tasting here. I don't think I've had a beer that's had bilberries in it. I've had, you know, Brewdog have done these ones where you have blueberries in them, the Hello My Name Is series, and they add lots of random fruits to their beers. So it's always quite interesting to go and just read a bit about some of these random fruits that you get from all over the place. And the bilberries are no different, but bilberries apparently are one of the most beneficial fruits that you can have in your diet, so do give them a go actually. They do taste quite nice actually. But as you can see, this beer has poured a really nice, it's a really quite unusual colour actually. It's almost like a sort of red mahogany. I'm not sure how well you can see that in the camera, but it does have a nice, almost kind of vinous red, but at the same time it's a kind of woody mahogany colour actually. It looks really nice. Maybe not quite chestnut, it's not quite brown enough to be chestnut, it's more red, but you know, you could probably describe it as red chestnut as well. But the best way to see the colour is just to look at it, like I say, and as you could see, there was a kind of half finger of a frothy, kind of slightly pinkish white coloured head on top of the beer there. If I put my fingers behind it, you can see it's not really transparent, but I think that might just be due to the colour of it basically. But there's some big bubbles around the bottom of the glass there, but quite a few little ones just going up towards the bottom of the head, and the head incidentally has faded away just to be a very thin kind of foamy layer, so looks really quite nice. So let's give it a sugar up and see what we can get from it. You can really smell that, as you would expect when it's a bilberry smoothie IPA. That's the first thing that's going to come out at you. It's these bilberries. They smell really quite nice and quite juicy, but I think there is a bit more complexity to the fruit than that. Maybe a little bit of kind of like, there's a bit of raspberry or strawberry in there too, but maybe you could describe it as being a sort of candied fruit. It reminds me of the sort of Haribo sweets that you get a little bit, but the bilberries have a very distinct aroma. And I think it was Hello My Name Is Paivi from Brewdog. The aroma of this one reminds me of that. And just when they had the sort of blueberry double IPA, it was a beautiful, beautiful beer that. But the aroma on this one really reminds me of that, but just a bit less boozy and malty actually. It is more, this one smells more like a fruit beer than a kind of fruit double IPA sort of thing. But yeah, if you sugar it up a little bit more, you can get some of the more subtle elements from this beer. So underneath that, there's some nice kind of caramel in there, a bit of toffee. It's almost like a sort of butterscotch aroma actually. And you can pick up a little bit of the vanilla coming out as well, and a sort of milky lactose. But yeah, you have to sugar it up quite a little bit to get the sort of milky lactose and vanilla elements of the nose too. And there is, you can pick up the yeasty character actually, does become quite prominent after you let your nose adjust to it a little bit. So yeah, it has everything you would expect basically. It's a lot of these bilberries. There is a bit of a candied fruit, maybe a strawberry or kind of raspberry tint to it as well. Don't know, but you can maybe say a bit of cherry actually as well, but it's definitely, the bilberries really are quite distinctive and very prominent in the aroma, but there is just a wee bit more complexity to it than that, I think. But yeah, some nice caramel and sort of toffee aromas in there, a bit like butterscotch actually, but some vanilla notes coming out too, and you can pick up the milky lactose. And a bit of the yeastiness as well. So really quite nice smelling beer. So let's get stuck into this guy then. So this is the 90,000 from Omnipollo, who are based primarily in Stockholm in Sweden, Skål. It's a special beer, so enjoy it if you find it. That's quite interesting actually. I was expecting it to be a bit more forward on the fruit, if you like, since I'd seen it described as a fruit beer. But it is a lot more balanced than you would think. There's a lot of other things going on in this beer. Yeah. The bilberries, when you think about the aroma, you think this is going to be a huge, kind of juicy, fruity beer actually. I did a review from the Pecan Brewery, which was over in Norway, and they had this fruit beer, and it was really, as you would expect, like very, very fruit forward. But this one it is like an IPA. It's a very smooth IPA. When they say it, bilberry smoothie IPA, you can get that flavour from it right away actually. So it's not, even though on Rate Beer, if you read about this one, they describe it as being a fruit beer, it really is more in the IPA, but just with a kind of fruit addition to it, if that makes sense. It's not an all-out fruit beer. But yeah, it's actually quite nicely done. You can pick up a bit of the hoppy character in this beer as well. But as you would expect, the fruitiness is dominated by the bilberries. There is perhaps just a little bit of candied fruit in there, but it comes across as quite a juicy bilberry. And it kind of goes all the way around the edge of the tongue there. It just comes in, and it's a little bit like, as I described the other day, the peach IPL beer from St. Erik's. The juicy character of this one goes all the way kind of around your tongue and just gives you this nice, big, wet, juicy mouthfeel to the beer. Yeah. The middle of your palate though is blanketed with a nice kind of bready and yeasty character there. That just blankets the middle of the tongue, but you can really get the nutty flavours in there as well. You can pick out the pecans and the almonds. There is a little bit of a distinction in the middle of the palate there too, so if you know your nuts, then just, I know I'm nuts, I'm a bit crazy, but if you know the flavour of your nuts, then you can pick up these subtle little flavours in this beer as well. The lactose and vanilla comes out as well. It comes out a little bit later. You have to let your palate adjust to this beer properly because there's quite a lot of unusual flavours in there, but the vanilla and the lactose comes out in this beer just a little bit later on, and you'll feel it right in the middle of the tongue. The malt base on this one is where a lot of the magic is happening. There's, as I say, that kind of bready, yeasty blanket that just covers your tongue. The sort of pecan and almond nut flavours are in there too, and on top of that, you're getting a little bit of the kind of lactose character to the beer, and that's where the vanilla is coming in too. It's really quite nice, and the flavours blend together really quite well. There is a bit of hoppy character from this as well, which is quite interesting. It's just a little bit sort of floral and slightly aromatic-y, but at the same time, some of the elements are a bit more smooth and grassy, but there is a definite floral aromaticity to the hop in this one. You can get it particularly at the back corners of your palate, and you get a bit of the sort of slightly spicy floral aromatic dryness just on the front of your tongue there. So just keep an eye out for that. They've blended the flavours of this one quite well, so even though you've got the addition of the fruit, you do have the kind of classic thing from the IPA that you expect, a bit of a sort of hoppy dryness to it. So the flavours go together really quite well, and they say it does exactly what it says on the bottle. It's a bilberry smoothie IPA, and it really is that. It doesn't lean too much towards the fruit beer. It has all the elements you expect of an IPA, but it has everything it says in it. You can detect all of these flavours in this beer, which is really cool. Yeah, that's what I really have to respect about this beer, I should say, because a lot of beers that you'll get like this, where they just put loads of things into it, quite often something becomes really prominent in the brew, and then you can't detect all the other little bits of the flavours. But this one, you can detect everything that they say is in it. You can get the two different nuts, you can get the vanilla, you can get a bit of the lactose, and the bilberries are pretty damn obvious actually. But it has a little bit more complexity to that. They say it's an IPA. It does have some of the slightly floral and aromatic hop characters to it as well that just give the beer a bit of a drier character, and it works really well. You know, if you see this beer, I think it is a special, it is a limited edition one. I bought it like 2 days after it came out, but I think it's been on tap for a little while too, so do buy it up and have a go of it if you do manage to find it. It's really quite nice, and if you enjoy your sort of fruit IPAs, then you will enjoy this one. Really nicely done. But yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel of this one, I would say mid-bodied. Carbonation is quite fine actually, it's quite smooth, but the mouthfeel is mainly quite an oily one. There's a good fruity, juicy character to it as well, but there's a bit of malty characteristic, like I say, in there. It is quite complex, and you get all of those different flavours in there, like I was telling you, but it's also got just a little bit of hoppy dryness as well, and that comes into the aftertaste. You can get a slightly florally, aromatic-y dryness to this beer as well. So overall, I mean, it's another really quite interesting and pretty unusual beer from Omnipollo, but that's what you expect from these guys after you try a few of their different things. I would recommend that you give this a go, because like I say, it may well be a limited edition, but if it proves popular, they might well keep it on, who knows. But yeah, the 90,000 from Omnipollo, the Bilberry Smoothie IPA, would recommend you try it. Some really interesting flavours in there, and if you're like me and you like something that's a little bit different, then it really is for you. I would recommend this to people who like the sort of Brewdog Hello My Name Is series, kind of that sort of beer. It does have a little bit of reminiscent things about that. And one thing I forgot to mention actually that's coming in the aftertaste, you can get just a little bit of a butterscotchy sweetness from this beer too. That's kind of, as the aftertaste kind of progresses a bit, you can just pick up a little bit of a butterscotch sweetness in this beer too, which is quite nice. So it is a really good beer, so give it a go, particularly if you like the Hello My Name Is series for Brewdog, and there's probably a lot of other ones that are similar to that too, so if you like that particular style of beer, you will enjoy this one. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this beer review. As always, let me know in the comment section below your own thoughts on it if you do happen to have tried it before. I always like hearing from you guys that are watching the videos. So until the next review, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. I hope you're enjoying the series of Swedish reviews that I'm doing for you. To the Swedish viewers, please let me know other Swedish beers to have a look at, and I will see if I can get them. But I thank you for watching my beer reviews. Please like, subscribe, share, as usual, until the next time. But I will catch you soon. Slàinte just now.